This is Jason,
This is Chad.
and this is Please Pass the Bacon.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Please pass the bacon. It's podcast time.
That's the crowd going wild.
It's Friday. Podcast time.
Fridays are the days we do podcast. Ugh, that sounds awful.
Welcome back to
Please
Pass
the
Bacon. Why do you do that? You always come in. We
'cause
don't do
I
it by
like to-
syllables. We do it by words.
No,
Please
when
pass the bacon.
When it's bacon, we both say bacon.
Okay. All right.
That's just the rule.
Okay. So welcome back to episode 8 of Please Pass the Bacon. What's on your mind there, Chad?
Well, I think we'll do a quick catch up.
Yep.
And I don't mean the condiment.
Yes.
The catch up.
Yes.
We just recently, I remember I mentioned this a few episodes ago where Jason from PBS came and talked to me about the book and the podcast and all that stuff we're doing with the community. Well,
he came out and
talked to you as well.
Yeah. So we got a little, hopefully a little bit of coverage about the podcast, maybe thrown in there.
Yeah.
Some coverage about
community stuff
Yep.
that we're doing. And that should be airing pretty soon on PBS.
Maybe
I think
September,
October.
fall.
Yeah.
I guess is what it sounded like, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So keep an eye out for that. It hopefully should be pretty good.
Cool.
Yeah. So that's our catch up.
Well,
Ooh.
I guess we're gonna jump right into it.
Let's
today.
do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it.
It's time.
It's time for the joke cop. I struggle
Bad-
with this every
well, bad
the
cop jokes.
The dad cop joke.
Sure. Let's say it's dad cop joke time.
Yes.
Because it's not because we didn't want to do bad cop because it's not
Right,
about
'cause that's
bad cops.
yeah. It's just a joke that's a dad joke, but about cops.
There you go. Okay.
All right.
Because you are still up 1-0. I think you get to make the call. Do you? Or no? You know what? No. Let's stay
the
true.
person who's
Rock, paper, scissors.
that's
what we do.
That's
Ready?
what we do.
1, 2, 3,
scissors,
shoot.
Oh, and just
Okay, you
like
pick.
that.
Bam. What you got?
I'm gonna give you the honor of going first.
Okay.
You may say your joke first, Jason.
All right, just a reminder.
Remember, I will
eye
be
contact.
looking at you, not like longingly into your eyes, but I will be looking.
You're gonna at least make eye contact. Okay.
Well, our eyes won't be in contact with each other, but I'll be looking at your eyes.
Okay. Thank you for the clarification there, bud. Okay. You ready?
I'm ready.
I gotta get my mind right. All right.
This is a lot of buildup.
A cow stumbles into a marijuana field. The stakes have never been higher. A cow stumbles into a marijuana field. The stakes have never been higher.
That was pretty good. You almost got me.
Okay.
I mean, that was a big smile.
Big smile.
smirk. Yeah.
All right. I know the next one's going to get you, so this is just kind of a warm-up.
Oh, good one. I like that.
Yeah.
Well chosen.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay.
All right.
Mine.
Wait. Let me...
Oh, you're going to mark the...
mark
the
my
no
0.
pointage. Yeah.
Where are we at here? Another big fat 0 for me.
Okay. Why did the celery get arrested?
Why did the celery get arrested? I don't know, Chad. Why?
For stalking. Stalks of celery. Celery stalks.
Can I record now? Big fat
Oh.
0. So, still 1-0.
Me.
You. But I have a feeling...
You're going to make a strong comeback, I think.
All right.
All right. Hey,
What's the bacon today?
today,
Because when I walked in...
did you smell the
I
yumminess
smelled
throughout
the
the
I
air?
smelled the bacon that the intern was making.
She's a nice guy. All right, buddy.
What is it? What you
Everyone,
got?
today we are doing Trader Joe's uncured applewood smoked bacon.
Okay, good.
And I listened to what you said the last 6 episodes.
Yep, and you
how
got-
you don't like smoked bacon.
Yep.
So
You got
I got
smoked.
instead of smoked, I got applewood smoked.
Okay. Good. Good. I
So
like
that provides a little bit more different kind of a flavor than just a regular smoke.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And I didn't say I don't like smoked bacon. It's just I want something different. Yeah. Smoky is not my thing. Whatever. All right. So what do you have? You got a weird law for us today?
Yeah. Well, I got a weird law. This is from Connecticut, or as you may say, Connecticut.
Yep. I'm familiar.
There is a law. Supposedly, there's been some ambiguity,
Some confusion
about whether this is real or not.
Okay.
Now, there's no actual law on the books, but other statutes, articles
reference this
right
statute.
So it's there. It's just not necessarily its own law.
Okay.
But
we feel like it's a pretty solid law because there are other laws that are confirmed that reference
exactly
this one. Cool.
That's how it made the cut.
All right, what you got?
Okay. There is a pickle law.
As in pickle that you eat.
Right. A pickled cucumber.
Okay. Not a pickle in baseball. You
Correct.
get into a pickle.
Right. You're not caught in a pickle.
Okay.
According to the Hartford
Courant.
Pickle Packers, Sydney I love alliteration, and that's one of the best.
Pickle Packers.
Yep. Sydney Sparrow and Moses Dexler, back in the day, were arrested for selling pickles unfit for human consumption. And now they're claiming that for it to be a real pickle, when dropped from the height of 1 foot, it has to bounce.
So that's how they were determining it's like
this is unfit. It's too flimsy. It's not. It won't bounce.
Wow.
So if it just like falls to the ground, no, unfit for human consumption.
You're going to jail or you're getting cited.
Yeah, I think I remember reading a part where these guys were fined $500.
Did you get a time? Like, did you get a time frame on this? Like when this was? Because if it's $500,
well,
if it was,
Steve Rice found an article about this pickle rustling in a 1948 article.
$500 in 1948. Wow, that's.
I mean, that's a big health. You can't be selling people pickles that don't bounce, man. Where do you get these?
Where do you get off doing that?
Pickle packers, man. I tell you.
Wow.
So yeah, that's our weird
dumb
law
law
for today.
Cool. All right, so a little good news, and it's a simple one.
Yeah, I mean, and maybe it doesn't apply if you're a teacher. Maybe it does. I don't know.
But I think a lot of people are going to be happy to hear that
I am.
School's no longer out. Fall, summer.
What?
Yes,
that was
it is time.
Amazing.
Thank you. It's time.
I feel like I should have done the.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, little rock and roll hand sign there. Yes, it's time for
back to school, people.
It's time for school, guys. Parents, I know you're happy about that. You've probably run out of things to do for the kids. You're tired of hearing the phrase, I'm bored, but it's time.
It's time. Get
time
back
for school.
Into thinking time. Yeah.
Cool. Crime prevention tip is it's not going to be our typical crime prevention tip, because what we're going to do is we are going to work in our, I guess you could say, crime prevention.
Yeah, I mean, it's crime prevention and safety.
Yeah, safety awareness. There you go. But we're gonna incorporate that today into the main part of our podcast. We're gonna talk a little bit about bullying. We're gonna talk a little bit about social media awareness, its impact kind of on youth and even adults.
How we value ourselves, what the role social media plays in our lives, and some ways to train our children to use it in a good way. Yeah.
And we're going to do that today with former, about 20 years in broadcasting, 3-time Survivor contestant, and now real estate agent, Jeff Varner. So, welcome via Skype, Jeff Varner. Now. Well, so welcome, Jeff, to Please Pass the Bacon, my friend.
We appreciate
what a cool name.
We appreciate you
way.
being here on the computer.
Yeah, thank you all for having me. It's pretty interesting what you're doing and what you want to talk about.
Well, thanks, and we appreciate you coming on, especially given that school is getting ready to start. And one of the things that we've done through work is some work with anti-bullying, cyberbullying, kind of specifically. But I knew that you, you were a 3-time competitor on Survivor. You have nearly 20 years of broadcast experience. So you come with some notoriety that you've now leveraged into your own efforts with anti-bullying. And so we thought this was a great time to talk to you about some of your initiatives that you've been a part of up in your neck of the woods. So
I'm not sure if I've leveraged it into bullying. I think I just sort of fell into it. I got bullied. I was bullied pretty hard, and it sort of helped me as I came through that, realize that once you go through something and grow through something, you almost feel obligated, or at least I did, to help somebody else do it, and the kids today are going through such a hard time, and it's just important that there's a lesson that I have, and it's so fresh for me that I'm still trying to figure out what that lesson is, but I know that if I get out and talk to people and help people, it helps me, so I just go.
So bullying these days, we didn't have to put up with the social media type bullying when we were kids. That wasn't even there.
God.
Could you imagine that? Not just.
I look back at some of the things I did in college and high school, and I thought, if that was on somebody's Instagram, that's horrible.
Or just to think about, I'd say this all the time. I got to think back to middle school and how self-conscious I was with my group of 4 friends, and how I was always constantly feel like I had to be funny or appease that small group. Now magnify that to the hundreds or even sometimes thousands of people who are able to communicate with you in good or bad ways in an instant.
And it's sad how much we put into our self-worth based on likes and comments, and we have no idea how many people are seeing these things. They might not click like, or it's just sad how much we rely on that.
So how
external approval, it's really ugly.
Oh, very much so. And a lot of our youth are defining their own lives based on that really shallow approval of people they don't even really know.
Why do we need it? Why do we want it? What is missing in our lives that makes a total stranger telling me that I look like Kim Kardashian?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
What about that makes me feel better?
Right.
Because that's, it's a beast. And how do you find the answers to it? I don't know.
From what we've talked about, you've dealt with from 6 years old through adults, right? And when you're talking to these people, you're covering the whole gamut.
Yeah, and yes, just to back up a little bit, if you Google my name, Jeff Varner, you will see that I am the guy who outed the trans man on national television.
Right.
Whatever that means for you, however you want to define that, it is what it is. And there's a whole lot going on with that moment in time that most people don't know. A lot of people don't know. And it doesn't matter, really. But what it caused for me was this really intense bullying that I went through. First of all, myself. I had to forgive myself in the beginning. But once I got past that and the world was attacking me, it really opened my eyes in a lot of ways to what kids might go through today. Because, I'm 53 years old. Who cares? I don't care what people think of my Instagram. But when I'm having a hard time accepting my own actions, and then other people are piling on and seeing a headline and telling me to go kill myself and that I should never this, that, and the third, it really does something to you. And I worked really hard for about 2.5 to 3 years to go through that, come through that, be a healthier person. And in that process, part of my process was to help others. So I have been really grassroots. I don't have a website that talks about what I do. It's not important. I think when people go and talk to kids and they put a big, Instagram account up to show them talking to kids, they're advertising themselves.
Right.
And it's about that. And I'm not doing any of that. But I talk to little groups of middle schoolers, little kids, high schoolers. I have a prepared speech for different people, depending on what age you are, that deals with my trauma and how I came through it, and how the lessons that I've learned can help you, hopefully, with what you're in the middle of.
Is there anything that shocked you in having these talks, the feedback you've gotten from kids that you just weren't expecting, good or bad?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's a lot of things.
I know one thing for us was hearing how if we polled a group of people in these what we called smash sessions, which were social media awareness and safety habits, was out of 50 kids in a room, and we asked how many of them have positive experiences with social media, you might get one, maybe three that raise their hands.
Which is a shame, because I really think when social media was started, it was a positive. It was a way to connect with family that you weren't near or friends that you weren't near anymore. And it was a great way for people to see what you had going on in your life that you wanted to see.
And still is, if you treat it responsibly. Like, all of that is still there. It's this other beast that's people's shame and insecurities have seeped through keyboards, and it's turned into something else that if you don't look at it properly and deal with it properly, it can really affect you.
And you said shame has been a part of kind of your way to identify some things that have helped you in the healing process of
100%.
The bullying, right?
Yes. When I outed Zeke on Survivor, it didn't dawn on me right away what I'd done, because we're playing a game,
right,
and we're sleep deprived and we're starving, and we're in a game where we're lying to each other and trying to kill each other in a sense, and that puts you in a heightened awareness that just makes it very difficult for you to comprehend anything. Like, you're not yourself. And it took me a while to come out of that, but in the beginning I thought, I am a horrible human being. Like, this is horrible. And what psychologists that I'd worked with at the time were helping me understand is that what I'm experiencing is shame. And in order for me to heal and move past it and be ready for this onslaught of social media that's coming, I need to be able to understand my own shame and how to get through it to be strong enough to handle all of that. And that taught me a great deal, to the point that when I go into schools now, these kids are living in it. It's like a soup of shame. They throw it on themselves. They believe it themselves wherever they get it, maybe in their homes, or, we pick that up anywhere. And it doesn't go, it goes in. Shame goes in. When we allow it to go in, it goes in. So you were asking what shocks me. What shocks me is seeing how many kids are just hurting.
Yep.
And being able to help them understand that what these bullies are doing to you is not about you. What those bullies were doing to me online was not about me. Shame has nowhere to go once it gets inside of you. It grows and it gets bigger, and the more you're shamed, the bigger it is, and it eventually forces you to act and react in ways. We walk past somebody and we tip our head, like we can't make eye contact with somebody. That's shame. What is it about you that can't look up and say hello to somebody?
Right.
And when you help kids understand that hurt people are the ones who hurt people.
Yep.
It's not about you. It's about them. Absolutely. It helps so much. There's no way we're going to be able to stop shame and bullying in schools. I firmly believe, going through it, that there's too much. It's too big. So for me and my plan with the kids, it's more about helping them understand that it's not you.
Yeah.
That's a big
It helps
message.
them develop a very healthy way of processing what a bully's trying to make you feel. They want you to be afraid. They're more important when you're less than.
Yes.
So they try to make you that way. And that's a result of mom and dad being alcoholic at home. Mom,
ignoring the
cheating
kids,
on dad, or just stuff. All families have all kinds of stuff that grows, and families are, shame is generational. It's passed down, how you react and act until you get a hold of it.
Or the parent that was bullied or shamed as a youth, and now they're worried that their child is going to be looked at as the nerd. We talked about one of the schools we dealt with. There was a Finstagram group. So all these fake Instagrams that these kids have got together in a group, and they
which
played
is
this
already
game.
a bad thing. Having
It's already
Instagram account.
Oh my God!
It takes an anonymity to another level, and so these kids played this game where they would say, "Who would you like to kiss? Who do you love? And then who would you like to shoot?" So when that turned into the principal's name got put in there, and so then when a parent saw that, who do they call? The police. We get involved. And so
which point to shocking thing number 2 for me. In bullying problems at school, what I found one of the biggest problems with that are the adults in the room, the teachers, the people who are around, because they get emotionally involved. Their triggers kick in, and a lot of them will tell you they're not paid enough.
Right.
They're tapped out. They're having to bring their own money in to buy books and stuff, so they just don't get involved. Or we're such a litigious society these days that the rules are in place that we start covering our asses more than we do helping the children. And people get involved, and next thing you know, social services is showing up at a house where the little kids are, and that keeps kids from going to adults saying, I know little Johnny wants to kill himself. What do I do?
Right.
It's a big mess. And until we get the adults figured out.
I was about to say, as an adult, that's a hard decision to make, even when you're,
Yes.
talking to each other. Hey, how should we handle this?
How do
We
you
know
expect a
so-and-so.
kid?
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, a kid, that's a
Yeah.
lot of...
And I want to say they just passed legislation, if I'm not mistaken, that all schools have to have an anonymous way, and this is something very recent, way of reporting. So within the school, there's a mechanism in place that they can anonymously make some kind of report or bring something to the attention of the adult. So
Right.
maybe that's.
But once it gets to the attention of the adult, how does the adult deal? How does the
True.
adult react?
Right, right.
It still comes down to, it's just a really big beast.
Well,
so for me, the most valuable thing to do is to teach a kid who's being a victim of bullying that it's not about you and they're hurting. So forgive them.
Yeah.
I know that's a hard lesson to try to get a kid to understand, and we can go deeper into why that is if you want. But
Yeah. Well, I know that.
I feel like I'm talking like on this whole other spiritual level up here. I'm not making any
No,
sense.
no,
but that's
you're fine.
Shut me up.
But that's part of it. Like these kids have to understand that. Like, I mean, at the time you were a 51-year-old man with resources.
Can you imagine?
Yes, as
right.
a 12, 13, 14,
Hormones
15-year-old.
are raging. You're trying to figure
Prefrontal
out...
cortex not developed enough to make
Absolutely.
good decisions. You're gonna. That's a scary thing.
Absolutely. And when you're an adult, it was not easy for me to see it, but once I saw it, I understood that there's a difference between shame and guilt. Shame is, I am a bad person. Guilt is, I did a bad thing. And until you can get from, I'm a bad person to I did a bad thing, you can't heal from anything.
Right.
Like that's internal. It's awful. And, a young mind that, I'm a 51-year-old man who's traveled the world. I've given, I've been nominated for Emmys. I've done television specials. I've talked to important people. I've interviewed people. I understand. I can make that adjustment. But when I'm 10, 11, 12, my mind's not there. And so they internalize it, and they, those are the kids who commit suicide, the ones who can't process.
They can't get that shame and that guilt out.
Right.
Yeah.
And when I was saying earlier about leveraging, that was the wrong word, but you
Capitalized.
You're a grown man that is, the kids would look at and go, oh, he's famous. That's because that's what these kids want. Oh, they want to be famous. They think if you're famous, you were just as much, just as susceptible, not as the kids are, but you were susceptible to something that as an adult, these kids, it might be good for them to see. It's not just them. It's somebody
Could be anyone.
who has notoriety, and they were still affected by bullying.
Well, I think you guys should probably do an episode on reality TV and have me back for that. There's a whole lot that I would like to share about that.
Jeff, do we still have reality TV? or I mean, I feel like when it first came out, it was maybe a little more a reality, but now I feel like
a little more unscripted or unstructured.
Yeah, and see, that's I am one of the few people in reality television who has been part of both. Mm-hmm. The original one. I was on the second Survivor back in 2000 when we didn't really know what was going on. Right. And they did just follow you around with a camera and capture what you do, and it was reality. I came home, and the show I watched was the experience I had. But on season 34 of Survivor,
different
15
story.
years later, oh my gosh, like the narrative is already crafted. It's like they're asking us questions to fit in the storyline they've got figured out, and producer involvement is just intense, and it's a faster paced thing. And it's even the Emmys now, they don't give the award to unscripted television show. They give it to the unstructured television show because it is scripted on many different ways. I think that's, and when a producer gets involved and starts messing with stuff and there's trauma involved, that's ugly.
Well, I think it's a good thing for.
That's another podcast.
Well, you're right, but I think if parents are listening to this, share this episode with their kids so they can see that we say this. I've got my wife and I have 20 years all-star cheerleading gym, so we see. At work, we see the law enforcement, right? But we see it on a different level with the kids in the gym. And I think it's good, hey, parents, share this episode because they can see a perspective that reality TV is not always what you see, just like Instagram, someone's Snapchats. they're not.
In a minute.
Bless you.
My dogs have to pee.
You know, they're
Shut up.
Wait, me? Shut up.
That was
rude.
No, not you.
Well, I mean, he is the guest.
Sorry, not you.
He is the
You don't
guest,
have to
so I
say
guess
that.
he can say that to you.
So you know that these Instagram feeds that's not reality. That's a persona that people
Well,
put
it gets
on.
us right back to just because you see it doesn't mean it's real or true. You know, and that's something that we need to make sure our kids understand.
Preach.
It tells us this.
Praise Jesus on that.
It tells us this. You know what? Instead of finding your value and trying to be like someone who that's not even really them, find your value where you are.
Yeah.
Find your purpose
Absolutely.
where you are, because you do have a
And-
purpose.
That's not an easy thing
Yes.
for a 13-year-old. You know, it took me until I was 50 to find mine.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to go through stuff. And
But if they can, you know,
know-
when you were 14, 15, did anybody ever tell you that? Find your purpose where you're at? No, but that's
No.
we need to say it.
Well, that's a big responsibility for parents, aunts, uncles, other family members that
there you go.
we need to make sure our kids understand that. And maybe we're not showing enough that we appreciate their, you know, we're not letting them know that we value them. I don't know.
Yes.
As a generation,
Yeah.
I don't know. But I think
it's a
if
great
we
way.
make sure, then we can help combat that from the beginning.
Well, and another prong to this is, okay,
Watch where you're putting your
Pandora's
prongs.
Pandora's box is already open.
There we
So
go.
it's not like
hey guys, Jason said Pandora's box on another
again.
episode of
Oh
Please.
God, I do say that a lot. I do say that a lot. I got to come up with a different
No,
platitude.
I like it. It's your style. Do your hand thing again. Say it.
Pandora's box, like
box
Pandora's box
is open.
It's open.
All right.
So the younger generations, I know from my kids, I have 10, 8, and 6. They're not going to be on social media. That's just not something that's going to happen. And if parents are listening to this and you have not introduced that to your kids, cell phones that have Wi-Fi or internet access or social media, keep it away from your kids. It's really not
Healthy.
a good thing for young minds unless it's very controlled.
Let me tell you an example of part of my process. You know, when that happened in real life for me on that Survivor episode, it was June 2016. The show didn't air until April 2017. So I had 9 months. I had to give birth
Right.
to a new strength that I did not know that I had. Through therapy, I worked really hard because I knew that on the night of April 12th, the world is coming at me. I'm going to be attacked, and how am I going to withstand that and deal with all of that? And so part of my process in getting ready for that was knowing that as soon as that episode aired, that very second, turn the internet off. Don't go on social media. Don't go on Twitter. Don't go to Instagram. I don't need to be on Facebook because the whole world's going to cuss me out, and I don't need to see it. And I took 2 to 3 weeks off, and that changed me. That showed me, because it changed me as a person. Like the less time I spend on social media, the more I am able to look inside of me and find that value and find that worth.
Mm-hmm.
I don't watch TV anymore. Like I can't stomach reality television anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I don't watch any of that anymore. Award shows, that external approval, I don't watch that anymore.
Adults giving adults awards.
Yeah,
Right.
That's ridiculous. And it's like the whole process of the way we do and treat each other. By walking away from that for a while, it makes it easier to see when you step back into it.
Yep.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
So parents at home, one of the smartest things you can do with your kid is keep them away from that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, social media fast. Just fast from it for a while and
Absolutely. Take a break.
get grounded
Pull it
to
away
real
from
life
them.
again. And I was going to say, it's a shame that a person could spend 50 years of their life doing good things, and then these days, one little hiccup, and now you're judged for
Right.
one thing.
Yeah.
And that's the problem with this social media thing, I think, is that it oh, look at what happened to this person. Look at what happened. And you can ruin a life because people saw a hiccup of your life on social media.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or TV, movies, whatever.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So we need to work on judging people so harshly on social media.
Social media is just so fleeting as well. I mean, it's like even when something happens, you've only got 140, 200 characters to put it in.
That's right.
So everything is bubbled down to a headline.
Yep.
And so you're looking at and a headline is meant to spin. that headline is going to lead to an article that makes money when you click
That's
into
right.
it. So that stuff you're reading is BS to start
It's
with.
all a spin.
That's all you're
Yeah.
reading. There's no context. There's that when you're treating somebody based on a headline a certain way, then you're doing such injustice, not only to them, but to yourself.
And that's what I'm at least somewhat encouraged in that I feel like when you look at long format podcasts, they seem like they're gaining momentum. And that's at least somewhat encouraging to me that a segment of society is willing to dig in a little bit more instead of just get the 140 character, quick news item or topic, just talk about. They're digging in these long format interviews.
Yeah,
and
it's
if
true.
there's a hunger for that, maybe people are starting to buy into.
And we talk
hey,
about
let's talk.
We talk about getting the whole picture. We say that all the time. Before you snap to a judgment, let's get as much as that picture as we can before we go.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, as
Pointing
police
fingers.
officers, I'm encouraged to hear you say that.
Yeah. Well, we
Because a lot of times police officers get a bad rap for jumping to a conclusion, and it's encouraging to hear you guys say that.
and that's why we're doing this. We're because one thing that we think that, and we see it, that social media does is it's very easy to be anonymous, which is then very easy to dehumanize probably you when you dealt with your bullying. I know with police officers, I mean, you see cops getting water dumped on them in New York. I mean, the only way you do that is if you can just separate yourself from the human behind that uniform.
That's shame. That's what shame does. Shame disguises itself. It hides itself. It separates us from self, and we can't put our own name up there.
Yep.
We can't put our own face up there. And when I was talking about shame has nowhere to go but out, that's what that old keyboard stuff is. They're making themselves feel better by pulling the plug and letting a little of that run out. You know what I mean?
How sad is that the bullies of our day are now hiding behind fake pictures, fake names at a keyboard in their bedroom, and they're just making people feel horrible.
Well, think about it. If you
Hey, shut up!
I equate social media to you're driving in a car. Somebody cuts you off. You're laying on the horn. You're throwing them the finger. You're cursing at them.
Why are you laying on the horn? When you talk about laying on the horn, why are you laying on the horn?
Right.
Yep.
What's driving you to be that angry?
Right.
Because you certainly
Right.
anonymity is part of it. It's giving you a vessel to do it. Because if you're in the grocery store,
If you're in line at a register,
if
anywhere.
if you're in line at a store and somebody cuts you off, you're not going to start yelling at the person.
Most of us.
Most of us wouldn't do that.
Some people will.
Yeah.
And then there's social media right there
to
capture
change it
put
all.
it on the internet and
to capture whatever spin you want to put on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all an ugly thing.
Yeah, it is.
It's interesting you should talk about the honking on the horn, because when I was going through most of my therapy, there was an epiphany that I had in reading and studying some different people that write about it. And, one of the things I learned was that one of the best ways to get through and out of shame is to practice empathy. Empathy is the antidote to shame. And one of the things that I would do is recognize how I was yelling at people who cut me off on the road. And I started all of a sudden just organically being like, okay, honey, no, you go on ahead. You got to be somewhere a little sooner than me. Maybe
that poor person's
maybe your
in a rush.
husband is in the hospital and he's about to die. So you go get there. Let me pull over and let you go. Like, I have a whole different reaction to things now.
Well, we snap judge.
And it's helped me a great deal.
We snap judge other drivers. We have no clue what any of us else are doing. Like you say, they could be going to the hospital. They could just be late.
Yeah.
Who knows? But we think that we have an idea, and then we roll with that and hit the horn.
Well, we get so
show
involved
us
in what we're doing, and we forget about what's could be going on.
Empathy is everything. Yeah. I think if everybody on the planet started practicing empathy, we'd have a very different planet. How do you get that through to a child?
Yeah.
That's the important thing. A kid who's being bullied, one of the most valuable things they can do for themselves is to forgive that bully.
Right. Well, I think it's good that we talked about, because it's not like we can give you the ABCs of how to stop bullying, because it's going to happen. But sometimes if we're doing things like this, if kids are doing things like showing empathy, you're kind of like the name of our podcast, Please Pass the Bacon. We're taking what can be a disparaging comment, and we're just kind of owning it and saying, you know what, you can talk about it, but we're gonna own that phrase. We're gonna take it back from you. So if a bully is bullying somebody and they don't get that reaction, and they're doing the opposite and they're showing empathy, maybe taking the legs out from underneath that bully.
They really are. But the most important thing they're doing is protecting themselves. They're not internalizing anything, because once it's inside you, then it grows and it turns into other things. And then you see kids getting on drugs and acting out with crime, and it grows. So if a parent is listening right now, the most important thing I have in my message to you is teach your children to practice empathy and to forgive people who hurt them. It'll serve a gazillion years of great karma. I firmly believe that.
Well, I think that was a great message about the empathy. Let's start teaching our kids while they're young.
Yep.
And I mean, we can all do that, even as adults.
And that's when I talk to civic groups. I speak a lot of times to Rotary clubs and groups like that. It's the same message, because, you go to work and people walk in your office and they take your head off, or something happens, and it makes us react to them in a way, and then now we've got this energy, and now it's just ripples and everybody's pissing everybody off all day long, when you really could have just looked at that person and said, I'm sorry, whatever's going on with you.
If you want to talk about it, I'm here.
Can I
that's what I wanted. There was something I wanted to mention there, and Jeff, you've said it several times, your therapy. There's no reason for us to be embarrassed if we need therapy, or if we feel like we want to get
ridiculous.
It, and we need to let our kids know that hey,
Absolutely.
if you're feeling this shame building up, this rage building up, please let's help you.
Talk to somebody.
We should not be, as a society, embarrassed that we need help with something like that.
Right.
And I think if we're practicing empathy, we're talking about what we're going through to a therapist or a professional. I mean, those are two huge steps to solving, or at least eliminating a lot of that issue that we have in our society.
Right.
And it's tough, too, for kids to talk to parents and talk to adults.
Yep.
You have to find the right therapist, somebody that really lets the guard down, because that's really where you have to go. But, I mean, I think we have a shame epidemic in this country, without a doubt. Mm-hmm. And you can't get rid of that until you talk to somebody about it. I think shame is more pervasive in our country than cancer. Mm-hmm. And that's just from years of reading about it and seeing it. I can spot it a mile away now. It's like, it's changed my whole life.
And now social media has given people the vehicle to pour that shame on other people.
But you got to be on it. Parents have got to be in that. Mm-hmm. Like, my brother has a 15-year-old girl, and he barely can use email. And it's like, you got to get on that boat, because this is their life. Like, we're ordering food now and ordering our groceries from our cell phones and paying our bills from our cell phones. Like, that's the tool. And I didn't know kids hated Facebook. It took me talking.
That's our generation. We're Facebookers.
Old people, they're more Snapchatters and Instagrammers.
Oh yeah.
How do you know what Snapchat is? What do you know? What do you think your daughter's taking a picture of and putting out there on the internet? Or your son? And
that school we dealt with
never goes away.
That Finstagram issue, that group. Police showed up. So every time we did those smash sessions, we would show up with a stack of papers. All those papers were the direct messages of these kids from their Finstagram account. So when we would go in there and hold that up, you should have seen their faces.
Look what we have, your private message.
This big, like we have private messages from, so not just their...
Oh, that was their group?
That was from their group, because what parents did is they screenshot, they screenshot all of these private messages. So these kids...
That's powerful.
Right. Like these kids don't get like, okay, it's a Snapchat, it comes up, it goes. Mm-hmm. It's 2 clicks, screenshot. Wow. Now I've got that picture, I've got that video. You can screen record now. None of that stuff is going away, and so that's the scary part.
And those kids who wrote that instantly, by you shining it on them,
felt shame. They were ashamed of their own, and
hopefully they felt guilty.
We have to be aware of how shame gets into a kid. Mm-hmm. Like parents have really, if you can pick up one book and read it, pick up a book on shame and understand it.
Interesting.
Oh, I just took it away. I have one that always sits next to my desk, and I cleaned my desk and it's on the other side of the room. I was getting ready to show you how on it.
That's what you get for cleaning your house.
Jeez.
But I keep a book with me at all times. So if I'm, shame is painful. You feel you get a lump in your throat, you get like butterflies. You just physically don't feel right when you've done something you should not do. Yeah.
Both sides of the coin, the police and the community, if we did that same thing, trying to understand where each other are coming from, seeing each other at, we shouldn't be looking at a suspect as anything other than a person that may have made a mistake.
Could be.
Not a repeat offender.
Right.
But, we still need to look at them as human and have at least that respect for them as a human, and then vice versa. Hey, we're real people doing a job.
Yeah, dehumanizing that person
is wrong.
In a position of power doesn't help the situation, doesn't help them.
There are a lot of people. There are a lot of people in the world who feel that's what cops are.
Mm-hmm.
That they are not human to an officer because, there are a lot of them that are given that rap, and it's just why I think it's so beautiful that you guys are out here showing that's not the case. I love what you're doing with this podcast.
Awesome.
I really
Appreciate
do.
it.
Well, we appreciate you coming on and sharing your experience and your efforts.
I got a bucket more. I got a whole lot more.
Well, we'll talk after the show.
Bring me back.
Okay, cool.
All right.
You'll be my therapy session. We could do a public therapy session.
Well, I mean, that's one of the hats we wear as police officers sometimes. Is a
we
therapist.
feel like we're definitely.
When I was an anchor, there was a point when I was an anchor in Michigan where a police department was wanting to teach their officers empathy with people who are schizophrenic.
Okay.
And so the way to do that was to have them actually walk in the shoes of a person living with schizophrenia. So they had a device and a software. It was a virtual experience where you plugged in. I've got this on YouTube, actually. You can connect to the video of me doing this.
That's interesting.
And it might have been a sheriff's department. Either way, you watched an episode of a man in his home suffering from schizophrenia, and he had ordered a pizza and was waiting on the pizza to be delivered. Mm-hmm. And that was it. There's nothing but what was going through his head and how he was reacting and interacting. It had smells. It had wind. This thing was fascinating because I was in there. And when I came out of that, I thought, I had no idea that is the experience of a schizophrenic person.
Jeff, I actually did that same thing. We did it. We have for our where we work. It's a crisis intervention team, and
isn't it amazing?
I mean, I feel the same way that you did. The smell of the pizza, the wind, he forgot he ordered a pizza. He didn't.
Wow.
I mean, it is.
And the news anchor, he's watching the news, and the news anchor starts talking to him.
Yep.
Don't answer that door. Don't answer
They're
it.
coming to
We
get
must
you.
have been to the same thing.
Yeah, and it's probably, hopefully, widely used because obviously it was a huge wake up for you and for me as well. I mean, it's amazing how they are perceiving what is going on around them. It's scary.
Well, and
isn't it amazing though how learning and practicing a little bit of empathy changes the way you see things.
And Jeff,
if you change the way you look at something, the thing you look at changes.
We say it all the time.
Always.
If people would go through like a Citizens Academy, do a ride along, they can do something called a FATS machine, which is a firearms training simulator.
Mm-hmm.
And
they're
that
not
puts you
people fat.
Yeah, you put people in those situations, and they come out of that and go, "Wow, I didn't realize how quickly things develop and how quickly I'm going to have to make a decision. Lethal force, no force. Do they have a
Which
weapon?
type
do they
of
not?
force? Yeah.
Yeah. So
again, it's more putting yourselves in other people's shoes before you go. I mean, we're afraid of the unknown. We're afraid of the unknown, and the more we know about something, the less fear there is, more understanding, and hopefully the better we get along.
If we come at each other from a place of respect,
right,
in the uniform and the citizen, if we come at each other from a position of respect, things go very differently.
Yeah.
Always.
If you have empathy, you're respecting.
Yeah.
And we can always eat bacon together. Hey, let's sit down.
Because everybody loves bacon.
See,
See, and Jeff, if you were here,
if
you were here, you could have tested.
I picture just like trying to feed the monitor. Here, open up, Jeff. Here's your bacon.
I can't tell you the last time I had bacon. I'm trying to lose weight.
Well, we review it every episode, so we.
That's not true. I had bacon on pizza 2 nights ago. I do remember.
I don't know if that.
Wait, why does that
counts.
not vibe? I'm trying to lose weight. I had bacon.
Have
I
you
had
never
bacon,
had
on
bacon on
pizza,
pizza?
but that doesn't vibe with I'm trying to lose weight.
That's true.
It's a cheat.
It's a cheat
meal.
day. Is that what you're trying to tell me?
Yeah, I make myself vulnerable, and I have empathy with myself.
I feel bad for all that
Falling off the
pizza
wagon.
that's not getting eaten right now because people are dieting.
It's true. I'm going to make you feel. I'm going to eat your pizza for you. Save you a couple of.
Hey, they're a
pounds.
business. They're just trying to make money, make a living. So.
All right.
Everybody is.
Well, Jeff, we don't want to keep you any longer.
Social media is. That's why social media will never help solve this situation because they make money on it. The more you get, the more it is. It's up to the parents to learn. Every parent should download Snapchat and Instagram
it.
and get on
And learn it.
and force your children to friend you and take your kids' friends and see what other screen names they might be under.
And
Focus
TikTok
on
is a
that
new
stuff.
one.
Wait,
too.
so
TikTok is all
repeat
over
that
the
again.
place.
TikTok
Hey
is a
Jeff,
new one.
say that again. So find out what other screen names you said that your kids could be operating under.
Yeah, because if mom and dad is in a phone and they know they're in a phone, then they'll sign up with another screen name and hide it in a different way. The kids they find ways around stuff.
Yep.
It is important for a parent to stay on their kids' butts like that.
Yeah.
Very important. Teach them responsible social media. It's important to take social media away. You got to have those vacations to make you appreciate what you have, but you can't. I don't think a parent can tell a kid no social media ever. Because that's their life now. That's the way it is these days. And when they get to a certain age, then you begin teaching them how to use it responsibly.
There you go. Yep.
How to. It's so important. Parents don't get involved.
Yep.
They just don't. They don't even know. Their parents that probably don't even know what TikTok and Snapchat
Well,
is.
and that one thing we do with our kids, even at the age they are, whenever we see, like if we're at a restaurant and there's 4 teenagers around and they're all staring at their phone, we point it out and we kind of make fun of it. And we're like, hey, look, they're all sitting together.
Yeah.
Nobody's talking to each other. And now our kids will look at it and you know what they'll say? Hey, look over there. They're addicted. And that's exactly what they're doing with these algorithms and they're using these platforms to tap into the addiction.
They're controlling us, manipulating us.
Yeah,
They really are.
Right.
They're listening to us. I mean, I went a couple months ago before I bought a drone. I was telling somebody in my room, in my house, I'm going to buy a drone. I'm thinking about buying a drone. What a cool thing. Never even searched for a drone, never did anything. 15 minutes later, I'm on Instagram and every other ad is a drone.
Well, I mean, that's just
the world we're in.
That's just good advertising. I mean, let's be honest. I mean,
Like, how did they do that? I felt so creeped out. Like, now I'll all of a sudden be like, Budweiser. I want a Budweiser.
and then see how long it takes.
Let us know if when we hang up,
Maybe it'll show up at the
later
door.
tonight you get an ad about bacon. Let us know.
Or
Okay,
pizza.
I will.
Yeah, or pizza. There you go.
Bacon.
Oh man.
Alexa, I want some bacon.
Now if you told Alexa, you're definitely going to get it now.
Hey, you've opened
She's
up
in the other
Pandora's
room with
box.
the door
The
closed.
Pandora's
If Alexa heard that.
Pandora's box of bacon.
What's the box?
That's I don't even know what it is.
You don't know what Pandora's box
yes,
is?
I do, but
Okay.
I don't know what.
This is just a box.
That's
and this
just the
is
stuff
opening it up.
coming out.
Yeah.
All the stuff from
Yeah.
Pandora.
All right. Well, Jeff, we're not going to keep you any longer. We
It's okay.
we appreciate
I
you.
appreciate y'all talking to me. I hope I didn't just talk you head.
No, man.
No.
It's
That's
good stuff.
I'm used to that.
Yeah.
Not
we
to
do
point
talk
any
about-
fingers. I use my thumb.
All right, Jeff.
Thank you
again.
very
I'm
much.
really grateful y'all had me on. I appreciate it. And if I can work with Charlotte Police in some way, I'm all for it. Just let me know. I'll drive down. I'm not that far away.
Okay.
I'd love to go with you on one of these Smash sessions and meet some of these kids. I would
Hey,
love
if
that.
if you're really up for that, we may reach out
Take
to you
you
on
up.
this.
Yeah.
Totally into
Cool.
it.
Good deal. So, Jeff, thanks again for being here, and best of luck to you with your real estate ventures, man.
We appreciate it.
Thanks,
Appreciate it.
guys.
All right. Speaking of real estate,
Hey, speaking
if
of real
you're in the
estate.
Greensboro area, look Jeff up, you know?
He'll help you out.
Yep.
And what if you're in the Charlotte area, Jason?
I think we got something for that, too. If you're looking for a new home in Charlotte and the surrounding area,
You can check out CarolinaSunshineHomes.com, and because you don't want a realtor, you want
the
realtor. Contact Krista for all your home buying and selling needs. She can do both.
Okay, cool.
So,
Well, guess what time it is now?
is it a good time?
It's time for...
Can I do something different this time?
Sure.
Normally, I'm asking you to do it.
Would you like for me
I
to
would
ask?
like you
Chad.
to ask me. Yes, Jason.
Chat. Would you please pass the bacon?
I absolutely will.
All right. Can you reach it?
I got short little arms.
Don't you spill that on the carpet.
Oh, there we go, buddy. I want you to pick your piece.
All right.
Don't
I think
move
I'm
your
gonna
chair
go.
around.
I'm gonna go here.
And
Well,
again, to remind everyone, this is Trader Joe's uncured applewood smoked bacon.
don't- okay. It's got a good. Ooh, you're gonna. Let's
Let's
do
put that
this.
down because I'll get myself into trouble in our studio.
It seems crispy.
It's crispy. Do you
I
want
like the
to?
texture. Cheers.
Cheers.
You have a hair. Why does it seem like you have a hair on yours? It's a piece of fuzz.
It's just from the paper towel.
Okay. All right.
Or your head.
Here we
All
go.
right, let's do it.
Oh.
I mean, it smelled good when it was cooking, but when this hit my tongue. Oh, are you okay?
I'm just trying not to. Yes,
In the
that's
mic.
really annoying.
Oh my God, this is good.
I'll go ahead and go first.
Please do.
This, I'm going to go 4.75.
Oh my goodness.
4.75. That's easily the highest rated. It's salty. It's got good and crisp. Salty, which maybe that's I just like a salty bacon. You know what I mean? Yeah, 4.75. What do you have?
All right, I'm with you on the saltiness.
Okay.
And I think a lot of bacons will say applewood smoked, but you can really taste that in this, and it just brings out all the flavor of the bacon and the wood. I'm gonna go 4.62149.
So 4.5.
I mean, that's not what I said, but
Yeah.
okay.
You'll get it. You'll get the whole quarter point concept soon enough.
I'm good with
It's only been
numbers.
eight episodes. All right, cool. That's pretty
good.
strong. That's some strong bacon
Yeah,
right there.
that's good bacon.
Speaking of strong,
Strong and good.
yeah, speaking of strong and good, if you're looking for a quality supplement, check out Victory Nutrition International, made from premium quality. Let me try that again.
Quarterly.
Made from premium quality ingredients, science-backed products with tons of clinicals that are peer-reviewed in scientific literature. I take VNI. I'm very happy with the results. It's products that really work, and it's nutrition that gets in.
I like that.
To get your VNI nutrition, visit vni.life/Victory Athletics.
What I always forget the forward slashes, the slash and the backslash. Which one starts of the left?
I think it starts bottom left up to the top right. So basically, like from 7 o'clock to 1 o'clock, to me is /. Maybe
Okay.
it's wrong, but that's I
I don't know.
That's what I call it.
I mean, we just type it all the time, but
Yeah.
without really knowing what it's called.
Yeah,
But
so there you
hey,
have it. But that's it for this episode. Thanks for listening.
We
Make sure
appreciate
to watch us on YouTube. Also, you can email us at
Please pass the bacon podcast at gmail.com.
follow us on Facebook and Instagram for episode updates, photos, and more.
And thank you to Reed Reynolds for the original music, and he can be followed at Reed.Reynolds.
I was going to say .com.
I almost did too.
I feel like you had to say it.
I mean, and then I said at. You can follow him at ampersand Reed.Reynolds.
Yeah, Reed.Reynolds. There you go. All right.
.com. All right.
That's it. See you next time.
Please.
I beat you to the explosion that time.
But I don't have any bacon in my mouth.
Fine.